So let's get started. Oh, hello, kitty cat. It's fun when pets and babies come to play in yoga, especially when we're on Zoom and we can see each other. We're gonna get started in a comfortable seat. So you can sit up on, if you have a block, you can sit on a block. If you don't have a block, you can sit up on your blanket, your towel. You can sit on a chair even if that's more comfortable for you. I prefer if you sit in Virasana Heroes pose, which is how I'm seated with my legs tucked under me. Here, I'll turn to the side so you can see it. I've got the block between my feet and I'm sitting back on my heels, but if that is not accessible for you, you can also sit in a comfortable seat. Put yourself up as high as you need to go in order for this to feel easy. We're not trying to break things open right away. Pull your flesh away from your sitting bones so that you can really plug in and you can feel like you are connected, making contact with whatever that is beneath you, whether it's a block, a blanket, a chair, and then rest your palms on your thighs and go ahead and close your eyes. Together, let's take a deep breath in. Open up the mouth, let it go. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it all go. One more like that, big breath in. Open up the mouth, sigh it out. Maybe make a sound. Let something go. We're just gonna take a few moments here before we start moving to come into this present moment with a brief meditation or centering, grounding, whatever you want to call it. But allow yourself to bring your awareness into your body, whatever that means for you. Maybe you start to send your breath deeper into your belly. You start to feel the sensations of your hands on your thighs, the feet on your mat, the texture there. Feeling the temperature in the room that you're in, maybe if you're outside, feeling the breeze on your skin, the sun on your skin. Letting all 5 senses drop you into the here and the now. Big breath in. Complete breath out. And then taking these first few moments to just notice how you're showing up. Notice how you're feeling physically in your body. Are there areas where you feel tight or tense or tired? Are there areas where you feel really open, maybe even soft, vulnerable? Not passing judgment, not labeling any feeling or sensation as wrong or right, bad or good, simply observing where you're at. Big breath in, big breath out. And so today, something a little different we're going to do in this beginning meditation is start to become aware of maybe where we're not going in our body, whether that's a physical location or an energetic location. So some of you have practiced with me before, and you may be familiar with the magic square meditation. This is simply a guided embodiment practice, an embodiment meditation. I'm going to walk you through a few different points in the body. You'll just use your breath, your energy, your awareness, your mind to go to that point. And today I want you to particularly pay attention. Is this a part of me that I have been tapped into? Is this a part of me that maybe I've been avoiding or not using? So together we'll take a deep breath in. Together, a deep breath out. And then imagine a golden column of light or a golden thread dropping down from the universe, dropping down through your skull, through your throat, through the center of your chest, going through the center of you, down through your pelvic floor, out your perineum, and rooting into the earth. This is your Sutra Atman, your central channel, your spit, and just finding that line. And then for 2, travel up to the back of your head on the right. So bringing your awareness, your attention, your energy to the back of your head on the right. Noticing if that is a place that you have been holding tension, that you have been holding energy, or maybe you haven't thought about it in a while since now. For 3, you travel behind your back, coming around to your left shoulder. I know I hold a lot of tension here, so just bringing your awareness to your left shoulder, your left arm, that quadrant of your chest, so it's actually the side of the heart. 4, you'll travel up to your left eye, the front of your head on the left, maybe feeling your vision lift slightly with your eyes still closed. For 5, you'll drop into the center of your chest. So behind your sternum, behind your breastbone, the center of you. 6, you'll continue down to your right hip, your right leg, your right foot. Maybe press that foot into the mat or flex it, just activate it. 7, bounce up to your right shoulder, your right arm, your right hand, the hand that does a lot of work. Most of us are right-handed. For 8, you'll travel around your back to your left hip, your left sitting bone, your left foot. Sending some breath, some energy, attention there. Maybe pressing that foot into the mat, just noticing where it is today. And then for 9, you'll come up through the front, through the center of you once again to your third eye, so that brow center. And then 10, you'll draw a circle around yourself, circling your whole body up, almost like you're a Renaissance man or woman, completing that scan, completing that meditation. And breath in and a breath out. On your next breath in, reach your arms up wide. Reach them up, open your eyes, stretch up out of your waist. And then come forward onto hands and knees. Hands and knees. And right away, we're gonna sit back into a child's pose. So sit your hips back to your heels. And actually for this child's pose, let's keep the knees together. So knees together, feet together, and sit back. You may be able to sit your hips all the way back to your heels, dropping your forehead down to the mat. If you have a pillow or something you want to place it under your forehead, you can. And then if you feel any sort of lower back pain here, if you've been feeling any lower back tension, or if you have anything going on digestive-wise, you can make your hands into fists and place them like right in the lower belly, letting your head drop, letting your throat and your face soften, taking a breath into your belly, into your hands if they're there, and a breath out. And then we're gonna just move through a little vinyasa here. And a vinyasa can be anything that we repeat a few times. Just starting to welcome in a little bit more breath into our bodies. So from your little seed, your child's pose, if your hands are underneath you, bring them back towards your heels. As you inhale, you'll reach your arms out and up like you're drawing a big moon, a big circle around you. And as you exhale, you'll kind of dive forward, almost like you are bowing. Bring your hands back to your heels. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. And then start to take this on your own breath, inhaling and exhaling. If you want to go really slow, really elongating the breath, you can, or you can make it a little bit more active, lifting yourself up, using your core to move between the seat and the bow. Let's all go for another 3 more, whatever that means for you. Really focusing on the breath here, creating more space for your breath in your body. And then when you've done your 3, we'll meet in all fours. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. You're really setting up a tabletop position. So measure out your tabletop. If you have a block, you can bring it behind your forearm or in front of your thigh to find that 90 degrees. But you can also just look down and see that your wrist is underneath your shoulder. If you're sideways on the camera, you might be able to look at the camera and see that you're at that 90-degree angle. And then you can flip your palms in towards one another so the fingers face in, measuring out. That is shoulder width distance. Good. Press down through the tops of the feet. That takes a little pressure out of the knees. And as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, look up for your cow pose. As you exhale, coil and round, press the floor away, chin drops into chest. Really breathe into the back body. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, look up. I like to imagine that I'm stretching through my intestines here. And then exhale, coil and round, breathe into the backs of the lungs. Moving through your cat and cow, you can start to speed it up. But again, like with that little vinyasa that we just did, I want you to focus on the breath and really inhabiting more space with your breath. You're not actually making your body bigger, but you're breathing into your full capacity. Your lungs are huge. They connect up at your collarbones, and they also connect all the way down your lower ribs and your back. So they're these huge organs that we don't often take full advantage of. One more breath in and one more breath out. Tuck your toes and just come to sit back on your heels for a moment with your toes tucked, opening up the bottoms of the feet. If you want this to be more advanced, you can bring the feet together, bring the heels together, reach the arms up and just hook your thumbs overhead. So my thumbs are hooked, my fingers point straight up and my toes are tucked. And then just bounce a little bit on your feet. If this is new for you or if you haven't done this in a while, it might be painful. It might not feel great, but we're bringing some energy, some attention, some awareness, and some space into the bottoms of those feet. Take another breath in and then another breath out. Come forward, back onto your hands and knees, tabletop. And then we're gonna cross the legs. So the left leg is gonna come to the center of the mat. The right knee is gonna swoop around. So if you're familiar with eagle shape, you're kind of starting that shape. The left knee comes back into the back of the right and the feet press down. The feet are wide, and the wider the feet are, the easier this is gonna be. Pressing through the tops of the feet, flip your right palm around, right fingers face back towards your knees. And then look forward, start to take little circles around your right wrist. Notice if you moved your hand out towards the side or if it's towards the center, it's somewhere funky, it should still be right underneath your shoulder. So moving around that right wrist, the right hand, like I mentioned, it's known as the hand of the world because our world is mostly right-handed. And this is most people's more dominant hand. It's usually more masculine. It's the hand that we sign checks with, we make deals. Switch directions, so going around the opposite direction, and then look out in front of you. Maybe you see yourself on the screen, give yourself a little smile, or if you're not feeling a smile, you can stick your tongue out. Do whatever you need to do, but get all the way around that wrist. Good, and then flip that palm around, plug it right back in. Walk your hands about a palm print forward, and then the left leg is gonna swing around. So the left leg is in front. Right knee comes into left. So the right knee nuzzles behind the left. And then the left palm is gonna flip all the way around. Starting to take circles around that wrist. So the left wrist, the left hand is usually thought of as the lunar hand. It's the one that most of us are less comfortable with. We don't always know how to write with this hand. We don't brush our teeth with this hand. Look forward, spread those collarbones, and switch directions. So go the opposite direction. So this hand might be a little stupider, but it's also more closely connected to our heart. It's more connected to our feelings, our intuition. Good. Come back through center, square everything out. And then tuck your toes, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Do whatever you need to do in this downward facing dog. I'm gonna walk you through like the alignment that I like in just a moment, but give yourself 3 breaths, 5 breaths here, pedal it out, shake it out. flutter through your lips, do one hand, one foot, whatever you need to do or want to do. It's Sunday, you made it to yoga. Good. And then inhale, come forward to your high plank pose, shoulders stack over wrists, heels reach back. If this ever gets challenging for you, you can always drop back down into that tabletop shape, but something that I encourage you in all of my classes is to play with that edge. Stay with the discomfort and notice when it's just something new, it's not something you're comfortable with versus being in actual physical pain. And then keeping your hands and your feet right where they are, send your hips up and back, down dog. Bend your knees. The knees should point straight forward. So notice first if they're going out or in, point them straight forward. Lift your heels up. The heels are lifted just enough so they're not a bunch of wrinkles in the front of the foot, but they're lifted so the buttock bones lift and you can press the floor away. You come up out of the shoulders, so you're not dumping all the weight into the shoulders. You can play with this by maybe bringing one hand off the mat, the other hand off the mat, and just feeling what it feels like to send some energy back into those legs. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose, shoulders over wrists, heels reach back. So imagine someone's pulling you forward, but someone's also pulling you back. Yeah, and if you have a side view of yourself, you can check yourself out. You want to be in one long line. And then send it back, downward facing dog by hinging at your hips. And then move between your plank and your dog. Again, here, you take what you need. If you have some fire you want to burn off, don't worry, we're going to do that in a minute, but you can also pump it out. You can go pretty fast, letting this be more of a cardio workout, or you can go a little bit slower, articulating every vertebrae of the spine, hinging in the hips. Good, and we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. Finding your downward facing dog. Again, 4 points of contact, hand, hand, foot, foot. And then one more time, come forward to your plank. This time we're gonna drop it through to an upward facing dog, modified up dog. So my toes are tucked. Hopefully you can kind of see that. I know everything's a little bit dark back there. I gotta find some like white pants. Press your hands down, press your heels back. Pull your lungs between your arms. If you feel this in the lower back, lift your hips up more. And then use your core and that hinge of your hips to send it back to your dog. And then go between your up dog with the modification, the toes tucked, and your down dog 5 times. Your pace, you can go fast, you can go slow. This is getting me sweating. So if this is getting you sweating, that's okay. That's actually the point. Good, and then once you've done your 5 times, you'll meet back in a dog. Once again, bending the knees, lifting the hips up, lifting the buttock bones up. Nice, drop down to your seat. If you wanna grab a sip of water, you can grab a sip of water. How are we doing? Just give me a little thumbs up. Okay, all good. Oh, thanks, Mark. Smile and a thumbs up. Cool. So we are gonna do water salutations, which is a Katonah Yoga version of moon salutations. If you came to class on Friday, we did these. So we're gonna do them again, but I think most of us are new. So this will be fun. This will be something new. So the point of this is I'm gonna walk through it twice slow so you guys can watch, kind of hear it, see what we're doing. And then we're gonna do it quite a few times, like for 5 or 6, maybe even 8 minutes. And it's gonna be a continuous cycle. And the purpose of this one is to get your body moving. I know a lot of us are inside, we're kind of sitting a lot, we're doing more strength workouts. So this is a continuous flow and we're just gonna keep that energy moving. The other point of this, what I find is because we're repeating the movement, it becomes like a meditation. So you can kind of zone out, you can stay present, but you can also just kind of let your body move and let it be a moving meditation. So you can just watch me again. I'm gonna walk through it. I'm gonna do it twice so you can watch, then I'll walk you through it. We'll do it together. And then I'm gonna turn some music on and we're gonna flow to the music. So you're gonna start in this little seed shape that we already played with today, where it's like a child's pose with your legs together, your hands reach back for your heels. As you inhale, you'll reach your arms up like you're drawing the shape of a moon above you. And then hands come forward. You're gonna reach forward and then slide your chest between your arms, coming into that modified upward facing dog. So I tucked those toes. That's probably the hardest part of the whole flow. You'll send it back to a downward facing dog by hinging your hips. As you inhale, the right foot will step forward to the right thumb, back knee drops down. Keep this toe tucked because we're not gonna be here for a while. You can stay right here and just look forward, or you can take that same arm variation, reaching the arms up overhead. Drop the hands down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, reach it up, taking up a lot of space. And exhale, hands to heart. And then we come down the way we came up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Same foot steps back, so we're on the other side. Right foot steps back, back knee down. Arms reach up. I have a table right here, so that's kind of challenging. If you don't have space, you can reach the arms forward and up. And then step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, modified up dog. Drop your knees, hips to heels, child's pose, seed pose, hands to your heels. All right, one more time, a little faster. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, slide forward, coming into your modified upward facing dog. Send it back to your downward facing dog. This time, left foot is gonna step forward, reach the arms up, and then hands come down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands to heart, pause. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, left knee down, lunge, and then step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, child's pose, seed pose, hands to heels. Any questions? We ready to do this? So let's go through it at least once on I'm not gonna turn the music on, and then that way you can hear me really clearly, because sometimes with the music on, my voice gets a little bit lost. So we'll do it once then, and then we'll turn on the music. And with this, if you get lost, if you forget, if you're like, what am I doing? No worries. Just keep moving. Just keep moving, just keep breathing. You can look up. I'm probably gonna do it most of the time, so you can also watch me and kind of figure out where we're at, or you can do your own thing. So let's all come back to a little seed pose at the back of the mat. Your knees find your eyes find your knees, your hands, really get a grip on your heels. Find the security in that connection. And then as you inhale, look up, reach your arms up, draw a moon shape around you. And then exhale, hands come down, slither forward onto your belly, slide yourself through. Tuck your toes for your modified up dog. Hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Back knee drops down, but you can keep the toes tucked. Reach the arms up, either forward and up or to the sides and up. And then hands come down, step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms up, really grow tall, get big. Hands to your heart and pause. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to fold. Right foot steps back. Drop the back knee down, keep the toe tucked. Low lunge, arms can reach up. Hands drop down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, modified up dog. So through your plank, drop your hips, modified up dog, and then bend your knees drop to the mat. You're back into your seed pose, hands come to heels. One more time without the music. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, dive forward, slither forward onto your belly, modified up dog. Downward facing dog. This time, left foot steps forward first, back knee down, reach the arms up. Hands come to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, back knee down, arms reach up, low lunge. Hands to the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, back into your seed pose, take a breath. Allow yourself a moment of pause before we begin. Let's just turn this speaker on. So I picked this music because it's a nice beat to go through. It also happens to have a moon as the cover art. And that's kind of our theme today. All right. So just pausing in your seat, and we will start in just a breath. As you inhale, come on up, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands come forward, slither forward onto your belly, modified up dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, back knee down, reach the arms up. Hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Hands to your heart. Reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps back, back knee down, reach the arms up. And hands to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, hips to your heels, seed pose. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Slide forward and through, modified upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward to your left thumb, reach your arms forward and up. Hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach up, hands to your heart, pause. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot back, low lunge. Reach the arms up, hands down, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, hips back to your seat. Seed pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Feel free to move at your own pace. Forward and through, modified up dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Low lunge. Hands to the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Right foot back, right knee down. Inhale up, low lunge. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Come forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, seed pose. Take a breath. Inhale, arms reach up. This is the last time I'm going to cue it. Exhale to fold. Slide forward onto your belly, modified up dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, back knee down, arms reach up, lunge. Stepping forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Hands to your heart and pause. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale to fold. Left foot steps back, back knee down, reach the arms up. Hands to the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward and through, modified up dog. Knees to the mat, hips to your heels, seed pose. Take a breath. Now you decide. The music's going to change in a moment. You can keep going at the pace that we were at. You can meet the music, or you can go at your own pace. But we'll keep going for just the next few moments. And again, let this be a moving meditation. Let it be the movement that you need. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold. Keep going at your own pace. If you get lost, just move. Your body knows the movement. So we're gonna keep going. And this is kind of the part where, at least for me, I'm like, really? I've had enough. So just keep moving. Maybe your pace changes. Maybe even how you're moving through the poses, what you're doing with your arms change. It's all okay. Drop the arms all together. Really just let this be about your lower body. You can also use the arms to be an extension of those lungs. Reaching the arms to create more space in the lungs. If you get lost, you can sync up with me. You can also sync up with someone else. It's kind of the beauty of the video. See how clean and how intentional you can make this movement, even though you've been doing it already for a while. For your round you're on, you can finish up one more side. If you want to even yourself out, you can do that too. We'll all meet in the seed. Hips to heels. Hands back on heels. Finding your breath. Letting your gaze be inward. Letting yourself drop into the pause. Just taking a moment to reflect on that experience, what it was like for you, if you loved it, if you hated it, if it was easy, if it was challenging, if you want to do it again, if you never want to do it again. Giving yourself that moment to reflect, take a breath in, and then exhale, let it go. Walk your hands out, and we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. So coming back to your downward facing dog, and just notice if anything feels different here. Perhaps just your body is warmer, feels more pliable, more open. Whenever we come to a dog, you can always measure out to your plank pose and find it back to a dog. And then we're gonna lunge the right foot forward, drop the back knee down, and we're gonna hold here for a moment. So those hips should be warm by now, they should be open. Untuck the back toes, plug that foot in. And when I mean plug in, I just mean press in through the shoelace side of the foot. Make sure the heel is underneath the knee. So you're not at a too acute angle, your foot is not too far forward at an obtuse angle, it's right at 90 degrees, so you're in your joint space. Walk your hands forward and then make sure that your hips are at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So imagine that there was a clock underneath you, your right hip is at 3, your left hip is at 9, meaning that they are squaring off. For me, that means I have to pull my right hip back and my left hip forward slightly. And then as you press into that back foot, reach the arms forward and up, coming into your lunge. Maybe this feels really great for you because we've been moving so quickly through this shape. It feels nice to hold. Grab on for opposite elbows and give yourself a little lift. So just notice if you're kind of sinking into your lower body, sinking into your kidney region, and then lift yourself up off yourself. Press into the mat with that right foot. Good. And then interlace the fingers behind the head, create a basket for your head. Elbows go straight up. Again, press in through that right foot. So it's rooting you down, but also lifting you up. Elbows wrap in and up. Elbows point straight up, nose looks up, and this turns into a back bend. But more than a back bend, I want you to think like you're rounding over a beach ball behind you. So there's curve, there's length, and there's buoyancy. Good. Drop the hands down, tuck the back toes, step it back, downward facing dog. If you look up here, I'm coming up onto my fingertips for this. This is something that you can play with too, or you can be on your palms. Inhale, come forward and through, modified upward facing dog, and hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb. If it didn't make it all the way there, you can take 2 steps. Untuck the back toes, plug that foot in. Make sure that your left heel is underneath your left knee. If you do have a block or a book or something, you can use this as a measuring tool, a level tool. And then walk your hands out. That left knee should meet that left armpit. Find your hips at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock again. It might be a subtle shift. It might just be like an inch of movement or even just a movement in your imagination. But don't let yourself sink into your habit. Really find that structure, find that alignment, not just because I tell you to, but because that puts you in your hip joint. And then unfold it, reach your arms up and forward, and then grab on for opposite elbows, just give yourself a little lift. We're meant to move from our joints, and the hip joint moves in a lot of different directions, but here we want to open it up front and back. We also don't want the hips going off to one side because that means that a kidney is getting squished. You might feel that in your body. Lift yourself up and off. And then again, find 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock with your hips. Interlace your hands behind your head. Elbows point straight up. And even as you're going up and back, really think up, up, up versus back. All the yogis on Instagram, or maybe not all the yogis, that's a blanket statement, but we see people with these crazy back bends where they're like touching their heels to their head, and that's cool, but that's also a lot of squish, and our organs don't do good with squish. Drop your hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. You can come through your plank or your modified up dog, or you can just pause in your downward facing dog. Look forward, step your right foot forward to your right thumb. And then bring your back knee down once again. This time we're gonna open things up into a twist, but your lower body is gonna stay the same. So oftentimes when we come into twists, again, we squish into one kidney versus lengthening out and then coming into the twist. So walk your hands forward, make sure that your knee is right over your ankle is underneath your knee, hands forward into that V shape. Pull your right hip back, your left hip forward so that your hips are at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock once again. Good, and then right hand is gonna stay right where it is. That left hand, just bring it to your lower back. Notice where so this is your sacrum here, this bone at the base of your spine. Start to peel your left shoulder open. So we're turning to the left, but don't let that sacrum move. Let the movement come from your torso. So the pelvis stays steady and then the spine and the torso twists from there. We're not just opening up the groin, opening up the pelvis, but we're really getting the twist in the torso, twisting through your organs. You can lift that left arm up if you'd like. The palm can turn towards the front of your mat. And then really imagine here you could lengthen like somebody were pulling your head forward, and then eventually your right eye will look up. So you're lengthening out through the back of your head, and then you're turning, turning, turning. Take another breath in, and then release your hands down, tuck your back toes, step it back, downward facing dog. Again, you can come through to your plank or your modified up dog, kind of waving it out. If you want to come up onto the fingertips, that is an extra challenge. And then we'll step the left foot forward to the left thumb, back knee comes down. Plug the top of the back foot down. Walk the hands out, find your V shape with the arms, left armpit to left knee, and then square off your hips. So feel that right hip to its own side, the left hip to its own side. Left fingers stay right where they are, right hand to lower back. And then think lengthen, lengthen, lengthen out of that lower back and start to turn without turning that sacrum, without twisting through the pelvis. And you can keep the hand there as a reminder, or if you feel stable and steady, you can reach the right arm up. So the crunch here too tends to come into this left kidney, this left side waist. So imagine that someone had their hand on the back of your head and they were pulling you forward. They were lengthening you out to then twist you. If you'd like, you can start to look up. So the left eye starts to look up towards the ceiling. Yeah, beautiful. And then drop the hand down, tuck the back toes, step it back, downward facing dog. Once again, you can roll it out to your plank pose, your modified up dog, and hips go up and back, downward facing dog. One more lunge here, maybe 2 more lunges. We'll see what we have time for. Right foot steps forward to right thumb. This time back heel comes down 45 degrees. So this is like a warrior 1 foot. So that back foot is pointing towards the front left corner of your mat. Again, walk your hands out 45 degrees, right hip to the right, left hip to the left. So it can be easy for the hips to pop off to the right, really square them off. Good. And then this time, right hand comes inside of right foot. So heel of the hand matches up with heel of the foot. Forearm and shoulder meet that right leg. So actually the right knee presses into the right shoulder. Left hand to your lower back. Once again, lengthen out through your spine as if someone's pulling you forward. And then you can start to turn. Notice if you're just opening up through the groin here, drop that left hip and let the twist come from your torso. Actively draw that left hip down. And then if you'd like, the left arm can reach up. Turn the palm towards the front of your mat. If you have the palm turn and you want to go the full way with this pose, you can reach the left arm forward and then start to look forward. So you start to look forward, not just with your eyes, not just with your chin, but imagine your pubic bone, your navel, your sternum, all reaching towards the front of your mat. And not even the front of the mat, to something out in your future in front of you. Drop the left hand down, step it back, downward facing dog. Roll it out through your plank or not, and find your way back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward to left thumb. Back heel comes down 45 degrees. Left hand inside of left foot, right hand to lower back. Heel of the hand, heel of the foot. Left knee meets left shoulder. Square off through your hips. So right hip to the right, left hip to the left. For me, I have to really pull this left hip back while still keeping that 90-degree bend in the knee. And then start to turn yourself towards the right, keeping the hips where they are. Maybe the right arm reaches up. Maybe the gaze lifts up. Maybe you want to reach that right arm forward towards the front of your mat, in front of you, to something in front of you. And then you can start to turn it into a little bit of a back bend, thinking your pubic bone, your navel, your sternum, all reach forward to that thing in front of you. Drop the hand down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to your plank, modified upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Okay, we're gonna do one more, just because this will be nice for our hips. Step your right foot forward, drop your back knee down. Untuck the toes. So low lunge, we've been here before. We're gonna take a twist, but we're gonna take it the opposite way. So walk your hands out to a V shape. This is where, if you do have a block, it can be nice to bring your fingertips up onto a block. You're gonna bring that left hand onto your block, your book. You can also just come up onto your left fingertips. The right arm is going to reach up. This might be where you stay. So notice we're doing the same little twist, but we're kind of putting the two poses together. You can stay right here. If you want to take it into an additional hip stretch, you can bend in the back knee, and I'm actually not going to be able to do this one today because I have a giant scab on that knee. Oh, maybe I got it. Flex the foot, grab for the ankle, and then you'll start to kick that left leg back into your right hand, opening up through your heart, opening up through your chest. And your gaze, if you look down at your belly button, your gaze should go straight up from your belly button. Once again, you can think of this like a back bend. Think your pubic bone comes forward, your navel comes forward, your sternum comes forward, and then your head lifts up and off. Gently release, step it back, downward facing dog. If you want to roll it out, you can roll it out. We're just going to come right into the second side. So left foot steps forward, back knee down. And the hips can be very different. So maybe that side was like impossible for you, but try it on this side. Walk your hands out to a V. If you had that block, you can bring the hand up onto a block or whatever you had in front of you, a book. It just helps to get you out of the shoulder. And then you'll start to lift that left arm up. Really think broadening across your chest. This might be where you stay, or you can bend the back knee, reach for the foot, grab for the ankle so that you can flex the foot, start to kick the leg back. So you kick the leg back, and that lets you open up through your chest. And then your vision, you look down for your belly button and you go straight up from there. Notice if you do this whole thing with your head, keep it embodied. So think pubis, navel, sternum forward, not just chin up and back. Release the hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. One final time. Roll it out to your plank, maybe your modified upward facing dog. You might want to pause here, just give yourself a moment. And then downward facing dog. Drop your knees to the mat and send your feet out long in front of you. So if you have your blanket or your towel or your pillow, you're gonna bring that towards the back of the mat. We're gonna sit on it for a seated forward fold. If you have a block or two blocks, you might wanna bring them back with you just to rest your head. So come to sit up on something. You can sit up on multiple things if that feels better for you. Pull the flesh away from your sitting bones. And then see how my knees are bent. I know the light is lit. Let me see if I scoot forward. You can see it a little better. So my knees are bent. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Dig your heels into the mat and flex your toes up. Again, pull the flesh away from your sitting bones. You can even rotate your own thighs inward. And then you're gonna start to lift up out of your lower back and fold forward, grabbing for your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to grab onto your feet. Your lower belly can meet your thighs, or it should meet your thighs. And then lengthen through the spine. So you're really getting into this hip joint here. If you have your feet easy and you want to take this further, you can scoot the heels forward a little bit, walk the buttock bones back. But as soon as you find yourself rounding in that lower spine, you don't go any further. You pull back so that you can stay in the hinge of the hips. And then if you have a block, or if you even have a tape, like a little something that you can stack up in front of you, some books, a water bottle, you can drop your head down, and this can get really nice and restorative. And when I say restorative, at least from a Katonah Yoga perspective, which is all that we've been practicing here today, it doesn't mean sleep. Like you're gonna go home in your bed and sleep tonight. Restorative means that we are restoring, it's almost more like reformation or rejuvenation, rehabilitation. We're giving the body structure and putting you in very specific shapes to support your health. So in this shape, we're gonna play with a little breath work, a little breath wrap. Like we did at the beginning of class, this breath, you will simply imagine the breath traveling the body. It will be a little bit simpler than the magic square. So as you inhale, imagine the breath traveling up the backs of the legs, the backs of the knees, the backs of the thighs, to the buttock bones, to the lower back. And then as you exhale, imagine the breath cascading over the spine, over the head, down the arms to the feet. Inhale, imagine the breath traveling up the backs of the legs. Exhale, imagine the breath cascading down your spine. Inhaling up the backs of the legs. And exhale, cascade the breath. And just continue with this at your own pace, using that imagery of the breath wrapping you up, creating this little cocoon for you to be safe in. Starting to soothe yourself by connecting your hearing to your breathing, hearing the sound of your own breath. Starting to really bring things down. Good. And then start to look forward. If you can, if this is accessible for you, keep your knees bent, especially for Sylvia. Grab on for opposite elbows, lift yourself up, go forward and up. So again, coming up into a back bend, come and sit up. Pull your lungs between your arms. One more time, take a big breath into those lungs. Flex those feet. Exhale, let it go. Release the arms down, and we're gonna come all the way down onto our backs. So move all your props aside, or pillows or whatever you had, and come all the way down onto your back. We're gonna take a spinal twist here. So the one I'm gonna walk you through is a little bit more complicated. Listen to the sound of my voice. I'm gonna walk you through it. If you get lost along the way, you can just come into a regular spinal twist, knees to one side, gaze to the opposite side. But this one is particularly nice. So walk your feet in towards your seat, almost like you were gonna come up into a bridge pose, so knees are bent. And then tuck your right foot underneath your left leg. Right foot comes into left buttock bone. Reach for the right foot with the left hand. That right knee is gonna point directly towards the front of your mat. So if it's pointing off towards the right side, scoot yourself, scoot the knee so it points forward. All right, from here, left foot steps on top of that right thigh. Right hand finds left knee, and then you'll start to draw the right knee over, or the left knee over to the right. Hopefully, like me, you don't have a table here. But essentially, you make yourself into this little pretzel where you have one hand to foot, one hand to knee. You're all connected, and then the gaze starts to go over the left shoulder. Breathing into the entire belly, the entire spine, the lower back, and breathing out. And then come back through center, unwind it, both feet down, And then we'll take the second side. So again, knees are bent, feet find the mat. Left foot comes in underneath right leg to right sitting bone. So underneath your right butt, right hand grabs for that left foot. Left knee points straight towards the front of your mat. So scoot it. If it's pointing off to the left, point it straight for it. Right foot steps on top of left thigh, kind of like that inner thigh. Left hand finds right knee and pulls the right knee over to the left. You can kind of move your shoulders out from underneath you so that you can rotate your spine and the gaze goes over the right shoulder. See if you can let softening, if you can let gravity really pull you down. Taking another breath in here and another breath out. Come back through center. Draw your knees into your chest, give them a little squeeze. And we're just gonna come into one final pose, a final resting posture. So you can come down into a traditional Shavasana if that feels supportive for you. If you do have a pillow or a blanket, I'd like you to put something underneath your shoulder blades. So if you have a block, you can do that, just long ways, or you can roll up your blanket, your sweatshirt, whatever. You can put that underneath your shoulder blades. So this is a gentle, supported back bend. So it's low enough that your arms can be over whatever that thing is underneath you or on top of it. And if you're trying to find something and it just doesn't work, no worries. You can come down into your regular Shavasana, letting your legs go long and wide, your arms by your side. Just taking a final moment here to let everything settle in. So take a big breath into those lungs. Open your mouth, exhale, let it go. One more like that, big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. And then we'll close by doing a box breath, a 4-part breath. So it's an inhale for a count of 4, a hold for a count of 4, an exhale for a count of 4, and a hold empty for a count of 4. And I'll talk you through it. I'll be cueing you through it, but just so you know where we're going. Let's take a regular breath in together and a regular breath out. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round. In 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold empty 1, 2, 3, 4. Full breath in. Complete breath out. Slowly, mindfully, allowing yourself to bring movement back into your body, maybe wiggling fingers or toes, rolling head side to side. In your own time, you'll come up to a comfortable seat. See if you can keep the eyes closed, just keeping that sense of sight turned off for another moment. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit back on your heels like we started. You can sit up on your blanket or pillow. Just giving yourself one final moment here. We're not going to walk through the entire magic square, but giving yourself the next few breaths to imagine that golden thread of light coming down through your skull, through your throat, through the center of your chest, coming out down through your pelvic floor into the earth, feeling your center, taking a big breath, your biggest breath of the day, filling yourself up, feeling your capacity, your ability to expand, to go out. And then exhale, let it all go. Opening up your eyes. And that is class. I'm gonna unmute you guys. If you have any questions, anything we covered, if you just wanna say hi, that is cool. Also, if you just wanna stay in your in, or you have something to run off to, thank you so much. If you didn't already.
Thank you, Emily.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, so I'll hang out for another few minutes if anybody has any questions on anything we did, anything we didn't do, anything you heard me say. Yeah, and if you need to hop off, totally cool to hop off, but part of the beauty of being live and being on Zoom is that we can have this interaction.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Mark.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming to class.
My sound was not working.
That's my brother.
That's my nephew.
And that's my aunt.
My camera's not working. I only finally found you like halfway through the class.
Oh, you only found me halfway through the class. Well, good for you for
I was listening